What up, what up? Welcome into another episode of Profit Picks. If you are new, we always start this show by being transparent. And yesterday, I had a good day. I went 2-2, but my big plays won. 4% on the Warriors, cash, 3% on the Spurs, cash. And I did play that Warriors first quarter under that we talked about. That was a 1% loser. And the full game over on the Bucks game, another 1% loser. So overall profitable day. Try to keep that going again here on this Friday. Mr. Veno, good to be back with you again. How was yesterday for you?
Yesterday was good. The play that I gave on the show was the only one I used. However, if you took a later line and laid 1 point with Denver first quarter, you got a push. If you got in while we were on the show where they were minus half a point, you got the win. So depending upon when you played, could vary in result. But I'll call it a win here on the show because when I bet it and when we talked about it, it was certainly less than 1 point. And boy, what a comeback it took in the first quarter, Ski, to get there. I think it was a 16-6 Denver run to end the first quarter because Golden State had been playing really, really well. We talked a little bit about total yesterday. That thing got 67 points in the first quarter. So a lot of good play out of Golden State, which would have been my one concern, but it did work out for me. Denver first quarter wound up winning.
All right, good stuff on that first quarter winner. Rob, you know how sometimes the mic might like it's using a different mic than you usually use. So I might have to switch it over a little bit there.
Let's see.
But I'll go through a couple of these comments while we're doing that. We do have a lot of people guessing the shirt color today. No winners yet. Casey says Robin orange. Oh, ah, my mistake. Damn. Yeah, I guess I did mess up today. I want to shout out the winners from the chat, but maybe and Rob left out. Maybe you guys can help me out. How about that? I'll shout you guys out after I get to some of these comments, so you guys can help me out with it because I graded majority of them. There were some in hockey and some in college basketball, and I did not pay attention to those sports, so I didn't get to the scores to grade them. So I'll lean on the chat a little bit and Rob with that. Just keep looking. No, nobody's. I think we threw them off, Rob. We told them that you got a new shirt pack. Now they're trying
We're
to get all the
tricky.
crazy. Yeah, they're trying everything. Nobody's getting it. A lot of guesses though. Lots of guesses. Um, People getting on me again for being late. No way, it's 10 minutes late again. I think this is the winner.
There you
Black
go.
M Scissor. So this is the first black that I saw in the comment section. Yes, it is. So you are the winner. If you want to comment on the show afterwards and leave like your cash app or something, or you can DM me on Twitter. Probably commenting on the show is better, and then I will buy you lunch today. You'll get $25 from Ski. So nice from everybody to guess. There are a lot more guesses, but we see who's number one. I do want to look at a couple more comments just before we get going here, and before I look at the recap from the chat. JT says, I've seen people give their New Year's resolution at least a month. I've never seen it last only 2 days. Hey, I'll try to be better. All right, Jay. I'll do my best to be better. Turfs off. Vino has to be plus 10,000. They were guessing everything, so we threw them off. What up, Sean? I don't want to miss just in case there is some special comment here. I know everybody takes the time to put these comments up here, so I don't like to just skip over them, even though I am late. So, Rob, let me ask you while I'm going through these comments. Did Memphis cover -9 yesterday? And did Memphis go over their team total 81.5?
Oh, wow, Ski. I was paying attention to that game, but I don't remember the final now. Did they cover 9? They played
Yeah, I didn't look at
Tulsa.
any college basketball at all.
I'll get it
It
for
was
you. I'll
on.
get it for you. Is the mic better now?
Mm-hmm. A lot better.
Yeah, Memphis only won by 3, and they scored 78.
Memphis only won by 3 and they scored 78. That means we're going to have a lot of losers in this best bet chat because a lot of people like Memphis. One more, if you could help me out there, Rob.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, no. Did Penn State cover plus 13? Saturated says, with every minute that passes, it's becoming more and more clear why Ski doesn't work at the post office anymore. You know, listen, I came like 4 hours late.
Oh man. Somehow I remember those days.
Yep. It wasn't that long ago.
Yeah. All right. So
What up,
Penn
Bryson
State
Miller?
here. They
My guy, tomorrow. Check IG tomorrow.
oh yeah, they got murdered, Penn State. They lost 92-61.
All right. There's that. So it's gonna be a lot of losers here on Memphis, and it's gonna be a loser there. I don't think the chat had a good day yesterday. I'll say that. Michigan, did they play yesterday?
Michigan State did.
Michigan
Michigan,
minus 6.5.
tell you in a second. Michigan minus
People
6.
are already dropping best bets for today. Pacers minus 5.
Trying to forget
You
about
got it,
yesterday. We do that. Michigan.
Jay Gill says, "Darn it, I was too slow. Ski doesn't answer his DMs. It's hard. It's a lot of them there, and yeah, it's hard. So maybe commenting on the show is a little bit easier, better because I do get an email when you guys comment.
All right, so Michigan lost outright 73-71.
College basketball was not kind to bettors yesterday, and yeah, college was not kind. So
who's your guy who does the Eastern Washington over all the time, Ski?
Kevin Johnson, he switched it up and went with Memphis this time, and they didn't get it.
Okay, got you.
Manny says, let's skip the chat picks. No, you guys take the time to do it. So I'm usually better at this. I just wasn't today. So I am going to shout out some winners. Yeah, Del Toledo was on Golden State. Zachariah was on Jamal PRA over 32.5. B. Saunders. Jackson Davis under 17.5 points, rebounds, and assists was a winner. I didn't get to any hockey, so I apologize. And also, if you don't put the number for your best bet, I'm not going to sit here and guess if you just put somebody's PRA. So my bad for you guys who put the hockey. I know Ronell had the Rangers game under. Damani had the Rangers on the run line. Sorry, I couldn't grade those. Mario C got a great number on the Nuggets, -2. That was a winner. And Damon B had KCP to get 3+ rebounds. That was a winner. So if I'm only saying that many winners, you can tell how bad of a day it was yesterday. So we're going to throw that one in the trash for the chat. And we'll try to do better here today. So we got a lot of games on the slate. We have every team playing except for 2, I believe, right here today. So let's get to it, Rob. We'll go in rotation order like we always do. And first game up, we'll start with 557, 558, Washington Wizards heading into Cleveland. Well, I mean, same matchup facing the Cavaliers. Opened up Cavs -10.5. They're a 10-point favorite. Total open 239.5, and it's dipping. We're seeing it as low as 237.5 for the injury report. And we are past the mark where they start to give some of those injuries. Shamet out for the Wizards. Garland, Jerome, Mobley continue to be out for these Cavaliers. And the Wizards are on the front end of a back-to-back. They play the Knicks tomorrow. I'm going to tell you right now, the first thing that pops in my mind, Rob, I broke down this game, or at the best bet section, I did this game the last time they played the other day. I gave the Wizards. And everybody in the chat said, "Ugh, the Wizards? No, I'm not. They're not putting their money on the Wizards." And they were right to say that because the Wizards lost by like 40 points. I don't know that I can even think about betting them again here. I mean, all the recent stats are going to favor the Cavaliers. They've covered 6 of their last 9 games. They're not on the front end of a back-to-back compared to Washington. Can you get there with Cleveland -10 again in this game?
Well, it depends. I'll say this first. I didn't. I could probably make a case for them. But if I want to make a small case for Washington first, on the road this year, Ski, they're 3-16 straight up. That's terrible, right? 3-16. However, they're 12-7 against the spread. That's +9 wins against the spread as opposed to straight up, which shows that a lot of times on the road, how bad they are is just overcompensated for by the line makers. So maybe it's a shade overcompensated for here. I don't know. It's the same matchup as the 140-101 game the other night, in which Cleveland had 18 offensive rebounds and turned it into 35 points. It prompted Wes Unseld Jr. to say, we have to be better at cleaning up the defensive glass. It's a priority. But again, if you don't have the guys to do it, it's hard. You can't just say it and magically it's going to work. So I don't know. Maybe Cleveland's just a difficult matchup. We know them to be a pretty long team on the interior, and maybe that works for them. Again, they could come in here a little bit lazy. We've seen Cleveland do that before too, right? You win by 39 and come back. It's the Wizards again, and that maybe not play a lot of defense like they did the other night. So I think it's a tough game for me to gauge. Always looking at Wizards totals. Obviously, this one started 239.5. It's down to 237.5, 238. So there's money toward the under. No Darius Garland again. I just don't have a good feel for it, Ski. I could make a little bit of a case each way. I don't think I could talk anybody off of any way they want to play that game.
I don't think I'll be involved here. We have a lot of games on the slate, so I believe it's best to move right along. The chat, though, seems to like a lot of different props in this game. I did put them up on the screen looking at Allen over his rebounds, and I can see that because Washington, terrible rebounding team. 3-point props, I could get there with some of those for Cleveland. So good stuff in the chat. Next game, or one more comment. Limitless J8 says we need more likes up in this. I agree. Maybe something will happen on the show if we get some more likes. Next game up. 559, 560. Atlanta Hawks, Indiana Pacers opened up Pacers -4.5. They're now 2.5-point favorite. Total open 264.5. It's got to be the highest total that we've seen this year, but it's coming down to 262. People are saying it's too high, way too high for Atlanta. Hunter is going to be out here for the Pacers. Bruce Brown and Nembhard, both game time decision. But Bruce Brown is probable, very likely to play. Nembhard is true game time decision. So the Pacers are on the front end of a back-to-back. They play the Celtics tomorrow. The Pacers have been playing really good basketball lately. They've covered 5 games in a row here. They're going up against an Atlanta team who has only covered 1 of their last 5. I know Atlanta's gotten healthier. They were on that bad streak as soon as Jalen Johnson went down. Now he's back in the lineup. But still, these stats are just always going to be ugly for Atlanta, I feel like. 4-8 as a road dog, 2-9 versus greater than 55% win teams. However, when I look at the last 5 game stats, how teams are doing recently, Atlanta, the number 2 offensive rated team, Atlanta, top 5 rebounding team. If they can do those 2 things tonight, Indiana on the front end of a back-to-back, I think Atlanta can keep it respectable, if not win this game. So looking towards Atlanta there, and as far as the total, I'm a little bit, I don't know which way to go. I guess Rob will have to help me out here. I'll say this. Hawks have been an over team, 9 of their last 13, surpassing the total. Indiana has gone under 5 of their last 7 games. They haven't been playing. They've been playing a little bit more defense, and maybe the offense has just slowed down a little bit or fallen off a little bit. Maybe I can't say slow down. I'm looking at the numbers. Last 5 games, they're number 1 and number 2 in pace. It's gone over 11 of the last 12 meetings. Both teams bottom 6 here, defending the 3 on the season. Is there any way to bet under here? Do you agree with the market move, or do you agree with me? You think the Hawks are the right side?
Yeah, this one's so tough for me, Ski, because my immediate reaction is to fade the Pacers off of that win against the Bucks the other night. I mean, they have played the Bucks 4 times now in the last, 3 weeks. And this last one was a back-to-back set, so it's hard to count that. But the 2 previous, where they played the Bucks, they came back the very next game and lost. It's as if they really get up for the Bucks and then can't get up for the opponent that comes next. And that was exactly what Tyrese Halliburton said. I'll just give you a quick quote from him. As a young group, when you play good teams, you want to be prepared for them as you can. I think part of the maturation of this group is being able to continue that competitiveness and be up for the games that aren't against the Bucks. We just have to continue to treat every game the same way and be ready to go. He's on my wavelength where, just because you give 100% focus and motivation toward the Bucks, it's probably got to be that way with the Hawks here. The Hawks got an Oklahoma City team the other night that came in off a huge win over Denver. Had a little bit of travel with it, of course, but the Hawks beat that team at home, and Oklahoma City is a good team. So I don't want to sell the Hawks short here. Somebody in your chat, and I wasn't in tune with it until it was mentioned the other day when I was on, said Jalen Johnson back for Hawks. That's when they're good. And I'm going to give you a quick quote from Quinn Snyder, who actually mentioned that. He said, whether you want to call it playmaking or facilitating, I think Jalen is getting more and more comfortable, and our team is getting more comfortable with him having the ball in his hands. Jalen Johnson, maybe Ski, is a difference maker, as was indicated in your chat room that day, and maybe Atlanta's a different team. We have to start charting, all those L's that we see in the ledger for Atlanta recently don't all include Jalen Johnson in the lineup. So interesting matchup here. If Tyrese Halliburton can get his team and a lot of guesswork, so I'd have to let it go. As far as total is concerned, they scored 309 points on November 21st, 157, 152. Hard to play under, but there's no way I'm betting over 262, Ski. When you just looked up Indiana and their last 5 games and saw that they're still playing really good offense, I think what that tells us is that the odds maker is just pushing these totals prices so high that now they're not going to be able to get to some of them. So even though it's these two teams, I wouldn't play over 262.
Yeah, it's very tough to get there, but we're saying the same thing about Jalen Johnson. We're thinking that we got to throw out those old results, and it's a different team when he's in the lineup. I said what the recent stats say as far as offense and rebounding, they haven't been the best defensive team. But another thing they have been able to do is what Matt Porter is saying right here. He likes them in the first half. They've been able to play 24 minutes of basketball. It's the next 24 minutes of basketball that's been that they're having trouble with, that they're struggling with, for lack of a better term. So maybe get in and get out with the Hawks plus 1.5. What do you think about that, Rob?
Possibility for sure. If Indiana comes in a little bit less focused than they were the other night, which was what I was trying to say before, it could happen early, and then maybe Indiana, wakes up in the second half after Rick Carlisle talks to him at halftime. I could see that happening, Ski. I can't bet it. I have to watch this game and see the results. I really want to start to be able to play Atlanta, because I think Jalen Johnson's not the type of guy, real quick, that odds makers will switch the line for, the number for. And if they start putting up some ATS wins, you want to get in on that train before they get alerted to the Hawks. You know what I mean? But I'd like to see it one more time here against a really good team on the road.
Fair enough. Let's keep going. Next game up, we have 561, 562. Utah and Boston. Opened up Boston minus 14. Not a whole lot of movement. A lot of 14 still out there, but looks like it'll move to 13.5 rather than 14.5. Injury report. I don't see anybody on there for Utah, and I see Al Horford game time decision for this one here, fronting of a back-to-back. Usually sits one of these. So you have a Boston team off of a loss. Boston team, both teams are on the front end of a back-to-back. I'll say that. But you have a Boston team off a loss. In that row so far, they've been pretty damn good to start the next game, whether it's first quarter or first half. But I just can't help but think, I think Boston cares about playing Indiana tomorrow, because they lost that game in the in-season tournament to them. So I think that's definitely, on their calendar. But I think they also care to get back on track. And they've said plenty of times that they care about these home games, because in recent years they haven't been playing that good at home. So it's tough for me to decipher how much effort we get in, today's game or tomorrow. But I do feel confident that they come out the gate swinging. However, Utah's been playing good basketball too, and Utah's as healthy as they've been. They've covered 6 of their last 7 games. I think first quarter, first half Boston, second half full game Utah. That's just how I see it playing out. How do you see it playing out?
It's kind of hard for me to understand why the total's gone down, Ski, to tell you the truth. This game opened 241.5, and we're staring at 238.5 right now. And I'm almost inclined to step in and be a little bit contrarian and take over in this game. Boston, I think you said it a couple of days ago. We've talked about it more than once. Jason Tatum's statement that they want to show the home fans they want to be good at home. They're 16-0 straight up at home. They average 122 at home. Utah gives up $121 on the road. So you can see Boston. I think their team total is somewhere in the vicinity of 126, 126.5 tonight. But the Utah bench is loaded with offensive firepower as well. Jordan Clarkson, Walker Kessler, Kelly Olynyk, Horton Tucker, all guys that can score. I just find it hard to think that Utah won't give up about 130 here and won't be able to score. If I just use the point spread of 14, 116, that gets me to 246. I don't understand the direction of this line movement. And with you giving me the updated injury report just now with Al Horford maybe being out, again, a little less rim protection for the Celtics. They do depend on Horford for defense, if nothing else, some corner threes as well. So I think I see over in this game. I think 14 might be a little too much to give, even though Boston's been really good at home. But I do see a high-scoring game here, and I don't understand why it's come down a full 3 points.
Maybe we look at a Jazz team total that was listed in the chat from JT. Says maybe this is a good look because they could get blown out. But looking at the Celtics' recent numbers, their defense has kind of fallen off the cliff here. Last 5 game stats, 25th defensive rated team, and going up against Utah, who's top 5 offensive rated in that same span. So Celtics have gone over 7 of their last 8. 5 of the last 6 meetings between these teams have gone over. Both teams at least have a little bit of rest, a little bit more for Boston with 2 days. But Utah team total 111.5. Starting to sound kind of good to me here, Rob.
I could agree.
I guess I'll think about that. Either Utah team total, maybe Utah, one way or the other. I think I should get involved in this game. All right. Let's keep going. We have a lot of games to get through here. Next game up, 563, 564. New York and Philly. Opened up Philly -6. Still see -6. Total opened up 226. And we're looking as high as 232. So a lot of love for the over in this game. Injury report. Let me just hit refresh here. For the Knicks, I only see Malachi Flynn game time decision. For the Sixers, Melton is out. Korkmaz and Covington both game time decision for tonight. Knicks got OG Anunoby, and I think that's a pretty good addition for them. He usually is a pest for this Sixers team. Sixers, though, have a little bit of rest advantage here, 2 days to 1. Both teams are on the front end of a back-to-back. I'll mention that. But difference between these two teams is a couple of differences. Home road splits, we'll look at that for one. Knicks 5-8 as a road dog. Philly's been dominant as home favorites, 12-3 ATS. When New York steps up and plays competition, haven't been that good against the number. 5-10, greater than 55% win teams. Meanwhile, Sixers, same situation, 7-4. Sixers have covered 10 of their last 13 games. Why would we want to step in front of the Sixers here? I will mention, though, last 5 game stats say Knicks have been the better offense. They've been the better rebounding team. But again, some of these stats are those games Embiid missed. So Embiid will be out there tonight. I can't bet against the Sixers team at the house. Can you, Rob?
I wouldn't bet against them, but I think the trend that I like even more since Anunoby came to the Knicks was the 106 they allowed to Minnesota when they beat them 112-106, and the 100 that they gave up to the Bulls the other night. And I think I mentioned this because I had Bulls team total over 105.5 the other night. They had 91 with 7 minutes left. And Tom Thibodeau's team played defense the last 7 minutes, and hardly any of the looks Chicago got were clean. It's like they flipped the switch, and with Anunoby on the floor, he was the guy during that little 7-minute stretch, providing a good majority of the defense on DeMar DeRozan to get the ball out of his hands, force it to Kobe White, who had a nice night. But when he couldn't get off a free shot, Chicago had nothing. So the Knicks, we talked about it, how they had not been playing defense. But since he came over, again, 106 and 100, that's really good defense in 2024 NBA. So I get 226 up to 231.5 because Embiid claims he's healthy now. He feels a lot better. I was reading a couple of quotes. He said he couldn't do much earlier in the week. But that number seems high to me, Ski, 231.5. If what you give Tom Thibodeau, even one guy that wants to play defense and lead the team. I saw the rest of the team play kind of following Anunoby's lead the other night. I think I could get interested in under 231.5 here. Knicks still don't play at an extremely fast pace. We know Philly doesn't play at an extremely fast pace. They're really efficient. But if the Knicks can cut out some of that offensive efficiency from Philly, then I don't know. To me, 231.5 seems a little high. I'll think about it further, but I just think that move up, and I'm looking here as we speak and seeing 232s at DraftKings and Bet Online, which it looks like this total may go up even more. So maybe I'll wait on it a little bit, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Knicks are transitioning into being a better defensive team than what we've seen out of them the last 20 games or so.
Well, I know that Thibodeau would definitely love that. He's always trying to preach that. And I do think OG makes them better in that regard. Dante says Sixers 13-0 ATS and home wins. If you think the Sixers win, just lay the points. That doesn't sound right because I have them, what did I say? 10, 12, and 3 as home favorites. So something's got to be off there. Let's see. Lit picks like DiVincenzo over 12.5 points. He's averaged 21 since he started into the starting lineup post trade. He's getting more looks and not afraid to let it fly. That's good information. I appreciate you sharing that. And VC3 says, don't forget to hit the like button. Yeah, I'm just, if we can get over 100, I have a little something for everybody. We usually get over 100 easily. We're almost there. Or I did want to shout out this because Paco put it here for us. He wanted me to check this out. We're a little late on the game, but I did put it in while you were talking here, Rob. So let's see if I can get it on the screen. You see this, correct?
I do.
So it's for that last Celtics and Jazz game. Paco says, look at elite teams greater than or equal to 65% win percentage after losing as a road favorite, and now they're a home favorite. It's the regular season. They're on the front end of a back-to-back, and they're playing an opponent that is less than or equal to 500 on the season. 32-2 straight up, 24-9-1 ATS. The average line was minus 11.7. They win these games by 18.21 points per game. So I would say that the Celtics are the right side in this matchup, and the line is high for a reason. So good stuff sharing that.
Look at that. Real quick, what I noticed on that, it said the average total in those games was 199.2. I haven't seen 199.2 in about 10 years. But yeah, that's what it
said. Well, it goes all the way back. You see this, it goes all the way back to the 90s. So a lot of those games are a lot lower scoring. But
that's why.
Let's see if we look at and season greater than or equal to 2015. 7-3 to the over. Average total 216.3. 8-3 ATS. 9-2 straight up. Still
Strong
good.
for the
Just
favorite.
just curious. After 220, do we have anything here? Only one game. So haven't seen it in quite a while, but appreciate you sharing that, Paco. Let's move on right along. Next game we have 565, 566, OKC, and Brooklyn. Opened up. Thunder minus 5.5 has not moved. Total open 234.5, down just a half a point to 234. Injury report for the Thunder. I don't see anybody on there. For the Nets, Dennis Smith Jr. game time, Lonnie Walker game time, and Ben Simmons remains out. Actually, both of those other guys are likely to play, so they're probable for tonight. And first thing I'll mention in this one is they did play not too long ago. The game went under, and they've opened this total a little bit lower. So it's one of those if you know unders. And Nets have gone under 4 of their last 5 games, even though OKC's gone over 6 of their last 8. So you can choose to do what you want with that. As far as the side, well, I can't help but think, why is this line 5.5? I mean, the Nets have been absolutely pathetic. ATS, they should be embarrassed. I mean, if they feel embarrassed and they actually come to play today, maybe that's what the line is this short for. But just how we've been seeing these teams, OKC should kill them. 5-1 ATS, their last 6, 7-2 versus lesser competition. Nets playing no defense, offense stinks. How can we back the Nets, or do we just run to the window to get OKC here, Rob?
I ran to the window and got OKC. I don't know. Maybe 5.5 is it looks short, but I don't know. I can't get over the quotes that I read here on the show a couple of days ago, or maybe it was on the Wager Talk show, where Cam Thomas basically said, guys don't rotate and help defensively, so why would any of the rest of us help? So nobody helps. And then you had the head coach, Jacques Vaughn, saying, I'm not a Hall of Fame coach and I don't have any All-Stars on my team. And then they went out and got destroyed by New Orleans and then got beat by 11 at Houston. It's their first game back off of a road trip. We know we like to play against the home team in those situations. OKC is off a loss at Atlanta. I think I said earlier they beat Denver before that Atlanta game. It was Boston. We've covered that a little bit since I said that. But it was Boston that they beat at home. They got up for that game. They went to Atlanta. They were losing big and came back strong in the fourth, even though they wound up losing by 3. So I think there's motivation there. Reading a couple of quotes from head coach Mark Dagnall, it looks like there's motivation to win off of that loss. There's no way I want any part of Brooklyn until I see something different. I mean, when you have guys with attitudes like that, there's just no, against this team where they can roll up 130 in a heartbeat, there's no way I'd want Brooklyn. They would have to shoot tremendously tonight against Oklahoma City. Last game they played, Ski, you mentioned it. Oklahoma City won at home by 16 recently back on New Year's Eve. OKC, 54.2% from the floor, 54.5%, even better from 3. So again, just in tune to the Nets not playing any defense recently. Houston beat them up the other night, shot 49%. So I'm on Oklahoma City here. Line, I don't know. I don't believe in that trap stuff, so that's why sometimes maybe I get caught, but I think OKC is the right side.
All right, and I don't think I can argue too much about OKC. I think they're the right side too. I mean, all these games we look at OKC and like, why is the line this? Why is the line that? And they do nothing but cover every single time. So just don't overthink it with OKC until they start to show us otherwise. So I think that's a good look there. And I see we reached that mark of over 100 likes. So I did want to try a little something here. while I try that, Rob, you know what this comment is about? I'm just curious. I don't know if you've seen.
I
you
don't.
know?
I don't know. I don't know, Hank.
Oh man, we joke around a lot on this channel. Booper knows what he's talking about. But what I wanted to do since we hit over 100 likes, let me get to it here. And it'll be my first time trying to do this. So let's see. Boom. See if that did something there. We got, there it goes. It popped up right in the chat. 5 free memberships. And they're snatched right up. Snatched right up. I can, and I'm allowed to do this. I'm allowed to do this 2 sets of 5 for each month. So maybe I'll just do them both today. If we get enough likes, if we get over what should the next goal be? Somebody in the chat got to make the next goal. But I know it was 100 for the first one. So these. I usually would do a System Saturday show. I dropped one last weekend for the members. I will do one again tomorrow for the members, and I will have some more up and coming stuff. So if you guys want to be gifted some more memberships, hit the like button. All right, next game up here, Rob. We have 567, 568 Clippers and New Orleans opened up Pelicans it opened up a pick 'em. We still see a pick 'em. Total open though, 228.5, and we're looking at 230.5. For the injury report here, Clippers are pretty healthy. I'm not gonna lie. Musa's out. For New Orleans, I thought he was in. I must have misread the notification. But Trey Murphy is game time decision, one of their floor spacers. Robinson Earl also game time decision, and Matt Ryan, another floor spacer, continues to be out for this New Orleans team. So I do have opinions here, Rob. This Clippers team has been damn good, as I can't get my notes together right here. My bad. Clippers team has been really good. So has the Pelicans. I would argue though that the Clippers have been more impressive. When I look at last 5 game stats, though, they tell me New Orleans have been the better offensive, defensive, and rebounding team. Versus competition, both teams have been good. So I guess it just boils down to, and I think both teams are equally rested here. It just boils down to who do you trust more, and is home court advantage really that much of an advantage in this game? I don't know, and that's my bad. The Clippers have been the better offensive rated team than the Pelicans last 5 games. Clippers are number 1. So I trust the Clippers more. I don't think it really matters as far as home court for New Orleans here. And pretty even in the standings. Team will probably leapfrog the other after whoever wins this game. I would be putting my money on the Clippers to come with an outright win. Could you talk me off? And also, before I pass it to you, I think the total might be moving in the wrong direction. I know the Clippers have been really good on offense lately, but neither team is playing with pace. Both bottom 5 the last 5 games, with Pelicans being the number 2 defensive rated team. Both teams top 10 defending the 3 on the season. I think we see less points in this game. So under or Clippers would be the way to go for me. How do you feel about it, Mr. Veno?
Yeah, I was torn on this, Ski, because I really wanted to play New Orleans in this game. Read a quote the other day from Willie Green. I think, again, either it was on that NBA show for Wager Talk or with you, where Willie Green said that his big 3, he couldn't commend them enough. Zion Williamson, CJ McCollum, and Brandon Ingram on how well they've been playing defense as of late. If the team isn't named Memphis and John Morant isn't coming from behind and beating New Orleans, they've been pretty impressive as of late. And their last 3 games, I guess, have shown it. Beat Minnesota, beat the Lakers, beat Brooklyn. Everybody beats Brooklyn, but they beat them senseless by 27. Just back to the point about New Orleans playing defense, and I know that we all knew that they had it in them because Herbert Jones is a really good defender. Alvarado's a good defender, but you needed your core guys to get into it. Zion said, we've all been locked in and connected on the defensive end, and that leads to a lot better things on the offensive end, transition points and just movement of the ball. So when me, CJ, and BI do get in our ISO, we've got more space. Here's guys buying in to what Willie Green was selling. We got to play defense and we'll be just fine. I think when New Orleans plays defense, Ski, they're top 3 in the Western Conference. Now, I'm just going to contrast that real quick here to a statement made by James Harden, who, as you mentioned, the Clippers have the number one offense last 5 games, so they're rolling at this point in time on the offensive end. But James Harden's still not satisfied. He said, we still haven't figured it out because different teams guard us differently. Once we've seen every defense, which probably won't be until the end of the year, we'll figure out how to attack. He hasn't been involved in a game against New Orleans yet. So when I try to go to logic school and put two and two together, James Harden is saying everybody guards him differently. New Orleans is guarding very, very well right now. Harden is saying if we haven't seen him yet, we're not so sure until we do see him. That leads me kind of towards New Orleans at home in this game, but it's hard. Which freight train do you want to step in front of, right? I don't know that I want to step in front of the Clips. I don't know that I want to step in front of the Pelicans. I prefer New Orleans, but I didn't get there. This could end up being a pretty good defensive game, but you know me, it's difficult for me to bet under. So I'm at a crossroads, but I think if I was, proverbial gun to my head, forced to make a play, I think I'd be on New Orleans.
Good quote. And I agree with there was a comment here that says it looks, I think it was tomorrow, says taking Clippers looks easier. I agree with that. And maybe Pelicans do bring that defense. Maybe a look ahead to the Lakers for this Clippers team. They like to try to beat on the Lakers. And the Pelicans, as somebody pointed out, have had success. I think it was 8 of their last 9 games versus Clippers team. So some good points being made. I think I have to take a step back and look at this game again. But Pels first half, if I like the Pelicans, that's the way that I'm going. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Have they covered what 10 in a row, or I forget how many they've won in a row? But you know how it gets, Rob. If it continues to cash, why would we look the other way? So maybe Pels first half, way to go. Let's see. Paco says, bro, Thanksgiving and killing NBA season. That's complete reflection of your hard work and dedication to your page. Appreciate that. And glad I can help. I'm not sure how to say this, and I don't want to mess it up. Mahalo something. I've never been to Hawaii. I'm assuming that's whatever that is. But appreciate you, Paco. All right. Let's keep moving on. And they're correcting me here. Not 10-0, but close. 9-0-1 last 10 first half. So they've been damn good.
Ski
Next
overall in their 35 games, I'm just looking at it now, 26-8 with a push in the first half. 26-8. I wasn't even aware of that. Boston's close, 24-8 with a push, but that's pretty damn good. 26-8 first half.
And I mean, I could be mistaken. I'm thinking, are the Clippers the team that took some time to get going? It was like a strong second half team. I'm going to check the second half margin. Check the second half margin for them. Clippers are 10th. Pelicans, they're 10th at plus 1.6. Pelicans are minus 3.3. So that's a reflection of they fizzle out as the game goes on, similar to how Atlanta has been. And let me just check the Clippers' first half margin. Clippers have been good in the first half, actually. I was wrong. Plus 3.5. So if I like New Orleans, we'll get in and get out. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Next game, we have 569, 570. We're looking at the Hornets heading into Chicago. Opened up. Bulls, minus 8.5. They're now 9.5 point favorites. Total open 223.5 and is down as low as 219.5. Injury report here. You have LaMelo Ball, Gordon Hayward, Frank Ntilikina, and Mark Williams all out. And then for the Bulls, looks like Zach LaVine has been ruled in, but it's going to be on some kind of a minutes limit. And Caruso, game time decision. Williams, game time decision. But it also looks like Vucevic is back, probably on a minutes limit as well. Caruso and Williams both likely to play. So Chicago should have the game back together here. How I'm feeling about this game is that's the negative. I mean, it's the first thing to jump off the page to me here. I look at Chicago. LaVine coming back, that's a red flag. I mean, the reason they even started winning games and covering is because he went and sat down, and guys who actually wanted to play and be there were out there on the court, and it was reflected in the effort. They were sharing the ball, playing for each other, and Levine might go out there and just do his own thing once again. Also, both Levine and Vucevic can be rusty here. First player back, star player, first game back. It's been a fade. And I look at this Hornets team, I think a couple different things. One, they have a little bit of rest advantage here, 2 days to one. They're I like to I do my best to try to find spots to back bad teams after they won a game. And they have the rest advantage here. And they're feeling good coming off of that win. They're 1-0 in 2024. And their road trip is kind of how I look at it. They're they lost they lost what, 3 games in a row on that road trip. Then they finally won that last one. Now I think, in their mind, they want to try to finish up the road trip strong. So I think Hornets are trending up a little bit off of that last win, and Bulls are going to have to take a step back, getting all these pieces back into the lineup. If I look at last 5 game stats, Hornets have been the better offense. They've been a top 10 defensive and better defensive rated team than Chicago. I'd have to take the points with the Hornets. Can you talk me off here, Rob?
I won't, but I'll tell you that I like over 220.5. Sixth road game, 11 days on the road now for the Hornets. Hornets on the road this year. Average game score hits 232.8. We're only looking at 220.5 here again because it's the Bulls. And because the Bulls have gone and done a complete 360 from what they were doing. They were 11-2 over the total during that span where Billy Donovan wanted more possessions during the 48-minute game. Had some injuries the last 7. They've gone under 7 straight times. With Levine and Vucevic back, I would think that if nothing else, it means more point production, maybe less defense because Levine is on the floor, but certainly more point production when you have both of them in the game. Again, Charlotte's been on the road for a really long time now, so I would expect their defensive intensity to be a little less, a little tired, a little fatigued. And I don't know that Chicago's going to necessarily clamp down on them defensively. So to me, this play is all about the value of the number, 220.5. I need to get 111 to 110 to win this game. I don't think that's entirely difficult considering the Charlotte defense and considering the additional offensive firepower out of the Bulls. So that's the way I'm going to look here, Ski. I think that, again, in fact, as I look now, well, I don't want to use that. I think the best you can get is 220, but you're mostly looking at 220.5. The 220 comes with a slight fade. I think this game gets over. Again, Charlotte's played nothing but high-scoring games on the road this year, as indicated by the average 232.8. And I think Chicago having 2 offensive guys back helps it get up and over.
And I could agree with that thought. So you looking more at the total, I'm looking more at the side. Don't think the chat wants too much to do with this game, but everybody agrees that Zach LaVine back is a negative for the Bulls. We'll keep it moving. Next game up will be 571, 572. Minnesota Timberwolves heading into Houston to take on the Rockets. Opened up Wolves -3.5. No movement. Total opened up 220.5, and it's down. I'm seeing as low as 217. Injury report here, and let me just hit refresh so we can keep up. Luka Garza game time decision. Clark looks like he's out, and for Houston, Easton is game time decision. They'll still be without Dylan Brooks and Oladipo. So I did have a system here, but I just wasn't sure how much I trusted. And I'll see if I can pull it up here while I'm talking. But I'll get it. Looking at this Houston team, 6-3 as a home dog, 6-3-1 versus competition. Competition being greater than 55% win teams. Minnesota, they've been a team that defense a lot better at home than on the road, and only 5-3-2 as a road favorite. They have not been playing their best basketball as of late. They failed to cover all of their last 5 games. If I look at those last 5 game stats, obviously it's going to favor Houston here after saying that. And this is a Houston team who's also on the front end of a back-to-back versus Milwaukee. So with that said, it wouldn't, it doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me just thinking about that to go and take the Minnesota side. Like, why would I want to back them if they haven't even been playing well, and et cetera, et cetera. The only thing I can think of is Houston's on the front end of a back to back. This system, I'll share it, and you guys can tell me what you think. I'll tell you what I don't like about it and why I didn't run to the window and bet it. Share screen. Boom. Got that right, Rob?
I do.
Okay. So we're looking at road favorites that lost their last game as a home favorite, and they lost the previous matchup versus team as a road favorite. And this goes all the way back to 2004. It says those teams are 37-6 straight up, 31-12, 31-12 ATS, 72.1%. I said to take the Minnesota here on the road. And you see all these wins in a row right here. I mean, it's been doing damn good. And this system goes all the way back to 2004. My problem with it is the last time that they played wasn't even this season. So to put too much into this right here, just it's not making me feel that great. So let's see if I can put the previous meeting. I didn't think to check this. Previous season. I don't even know if this will work, if this is how you're supposed to word it, but if it's not, maybe somebody will help me out. Previous season equals this same season. That's what I would think. And it does work. Oh, I'd have to put not the same season. That's what I need. So how can I put not equal to? I don't, I'm not sure how to put that. I don't know how to check it. But a lot of those results were when it's the same season. I guess I could just subtract from that. That would make it 13 and 4 ATS when it's not the same season. So still says you should play those Minnesota Timberwolves on the spread. So what do you think about this query, Rob? Does it make sense to you? Could you get there with the Timberwolves?
Well, I did like the Timberwolves ski, so obviously I'm going to be happy with the query that you ran. Like you mentioned, though, there has been no in-season game between these two. I think it was January of 2023. I have in my notes last time they played. So that's last season. But here's what I like about Minnesota. First of all, I'll just start with a basic part of a handicap that I like. And I've said this before. I like teams, good teams, on the first game of a road trip. To me, that's when the excitement is large, when the focus and motivation, hey, we're going out on the road. Let's do well. And it especially appeals to me when the team isn't playing good. They take a different attitude on the road. If this first game goes sour for them, the road trip might go sour. But a couple of things said, and you mentioned that the defensive disparity between Minnesota at home and Minnesota on the road, it's really defensive disparity overall at this current point in time. And to that point, Chris Fitch said, we've got to get our desperation back. That's first of all. We've got to play better. We haven't played with a lot of pop and purpose since we went to Sacramento. We've kind of been maybe in second gear since then. We've got to fix it. We've got to get our physicality back, got to get our defense back. We've got to get our identity back, which is being more physical, being bigger. We know that. That's how they were successful to start the year. Defensive team, physical team. And it's sort of gone away. Maybe things were coming too easy to the Timberwolves to start the year. But my personal feeling, and this is all situational, is that when the coach is feeling that way and you've got veteran leadership, Anthony Edwards is a fiery leader. Towns is not as fiery, but he's veteran. Gobert is veteran. And you're going to play a team tonight that's going to bring physicality to you. Ime Udoka has turned Houston into somewhat of a physical, defensive-minded team. So if you're going to get pushed around, my idea is they're going to push back tonight. This is a good team to start the road trip with. Again, this is all situational. I haven't brought you one statistic, one number to this handicap. This is all feel from what the coach is saying and from what the way the team is playing, and the fact that I do like first game of road trip with a good team to be fully focused and motivated. So for me, I thought I think there is 3.5 point separation in rosters. If I just go up and down personnel, I think that Minnesota has guys that can handle Sengun and the other Houston Bigs. So to me, I like Minnesota. I did play Minnesota at -3.5. Now we're showing a little bit of red on the screen. It's going up to 4. So I don't know how much longer you guys will be able to get 3.5s. But I do think that it's the right way to go here. I like Minnesota, and your query helps me a little bit. It's hard for me to believe in stuff that happened in 2004, but those are strong numbers.
Yeah, I think this is one of those times where I'm talking it out. We're able to figure out how to check when it's not the same season, and I need to log in and make a bet here. I think that's what I need to do. So I apologize for the dead air time, but this is why we do this show, to try to make some money. And if I wait too long, the line might not be there anymore. So
Keep
let me
those
try to get
apps
it.
open.
Yeah, let me get it while I can, man. So Minnesota screen says I can get it at either no Vegas books, but Bookmaker Heritage 3.5. Maybe BetMGM. I think that's where I had success. So, and again, my bad, but hey, you guys know why we're here. We're here to make some money. Not here to just talk. So
The idea.
Minnesota -3.5. Locked in there. All right. Good stuff. Good deal. Next game up, we will go 573, 574. Portland and Dallas opened up. And by the way, at least you guys know I actually put money on my bets. Dallas, Dallas -10.5 was the opener, and we see -8.5, -9 out there right now. Total open 237.5, and it's down as low as 236. Injury report for Dallas. Luca's downgraded to questionable, but everybody's on the injury report. Lively, Morris, Williams, they're all game time. Exum, Rashawn Holmes, Maxi Kleba, all out. Looks like Jabari Walker Jr. is doubtful. Ayton and Moses Brown are going to be out for this Portland team. I want nothing to do with this game. I'll save everybody time. This is a game I have zero interest in betting. 14 games on the board. Yeah, get this one out of here. I'll pass it to you, Rob. Sorry to pass you this trash, but can you find anything out of it?
Yeah, it's right. I made something out of it the other night. I had Dallas team total over 124.5. These teams are on a back-to-back with a day of rest in between. I think Dallas had 78 in the first half. That night, Luka had a huge first half. Kyrie had a pretty big game. Again, I think I said this earlier about a back-to-back. It's hard. I think it was the Washington-Cleveland game. When you blow somebody out, the way Cleveland blew Washington out and the way Dallas blew Portland out, I think it's hard to have the same motivation. For Dallas, the next game after a day of rest is home against Minnesota. Maybe they do choose. Maybe Jason Kidd chooses to rest some guys here tonight on a Friday night. Won't please the people who come to see the game, but you can't trust at this time of day, Ski, when we're doing the show, that everybody for Dallas is going to play and play with motivation. So, again, it's probably best left alone here. I don't know how interested Dallas is in this game, which obviously the counter to that would be, well, why don't you play Portland? I don't know that I want any part of Portland right now as well. I would look total, because that's the way you're supposed to look in Dallas games. This one, 236.5, and we don't even know if we're going to get – we know we'll get Kyrie, I guess, because I didn't hear you say his name. But other than that, who knows who we're going to get. So going to have to wait on it. If you're going to play it, I would suggest you wait on it, see what's going on later in the day. But I wouldn't trust Dallas in this point range after destroying this team a couple nights ago.
Yeah, I'm not trusting anything in this game. They're not getting another second of my time. Next game up, 575, 576. Orlando and Denver. I think this was one of the more interesting games today. Opened up Denver -10.5. They're now a 9-point favorite as the consensus. Total open 224, and it is down as low as 222.5. So, injury report, nobody's popped on there yet for Denver. They are on a back-to-back. You could very well see them anytime throughout the day be added to this injury report. For Orlando, Wendell Carter Jr., game time, they're going to be without Markel Fultz, Gary Harris Jr., Joe Ingles, Jonathan Isaac, and Franz Wagner. This game, all right, let's start like this here, Rob. You have Denver down 17 points in that last game and had to come all the way back to win. I think that takes a good amount of energy, to do that, and then have to come back here and play right back again. And they had to travel. I think this is a pretty tough spot for Denver. Denver is only 3-5 ATS on the second of a back-to-back. Only covered 2 of their last 6 games. Orlando does have the rest advantage. They are off a double overtime game. So do they really have rest advantage? Orlando, though, has been playing good basketball. They've covered 6 of their last 8 games. First competition, greater than 55% win teams. They're 10-6 ATS. And if I do look at the last 5 game stats, the categories that I care about, offensive rating, defensive rating, rebound percentage, they do all favor the Nuggets. Do the Nuggets really care about this game? Do they have enough in the tank to win by double digits? I don't think I would be putting my money there. I look a little bit more towards the Magic, and I'll leave this total to you here, Rob. Maybe you can help them, which direction you lean, and could you get there with the Magic?
I wanted to. I really did. I mean, situationally, it's a great spot for Orlando, but their injury situation, Ski, is just brutal at this point in time for the Magic. And in fact, you got a quote from Paolo Banchero, who said, if I could find it here real quick, injuries are kicking our butts right now. And next man up mentality. Banchero had 43 in the double overtime loss at the Kings. The starting lineup tonight, suggested starting lineup: Anthony Black, Caleb Houston, Goga Batadze, all guys that are starting here. Only Banchero and Jalen Suggs. So only 2 of the 5 are true starters in this lineup, which slows me down a little bit, but it doesn't slow me down from playing under, Ski. I think all the situational points that you made, I totally agree with. It's why I looked at Orlando first. But I think their lack of offensive firepower. Remember, they lose Franz Wagner in the last game, and he's one of their better scorers. And so without him as well, I think Orlando could be or should be less offensive. Denver probably a little fatigued coming back home, and they play slow pace to begin with. If some shots aren't falling, I wouldn't be surprised. I think 223 is probably too high of a total. And the more I looked at this game before we came on, the more I thought that was the right way to go. Rather than take the points with Orlando, just shoot for a lower scoring game, a game where maybe Denver doesn't have the true focus and motivation off of the Golden State comeback the other night, and a game where a banged up Orlando team just tries to slow it down and hang into the fourth quarter. And then maybe if they're close, make a run.
Rob, I'm saying I really want to get there with the Magic, Rob. I really do. Kevin is giving us some good stats here. I was trying to type in some other stuff on my own. Mr. Contrarian, or one of the Contrarians in the chat, guy JB, likes the Nuggets -9.5 coming off double overtime. I mean, Nuggets are on a back-to-back too. So I don't like seeing that. I know JB's been pretty hot lately. But what I'm looking at here, Rob, I'll put this on the screen, and I want to play with it just a little bit here. But let me get it together. So just to see how we get. I know Kevin said he had a query that goes back to last season. I want to look a little further and just kind of how we talking about the situation. So you can see this, right?
Yes.
So this is unrested home favorites who had to come back from more than 15 points in their last game. Just make sure. Yeah, it's come back from more than 15 points down in their last game to win versus an opponent that is rested. 13-21 ATS all time. Don't have a lot of these situations, but I just wanted to see if we have anywhere the opponent previous overtime game. And it's only 2 situations 1-1 ATS, 2-0 to the over though. So I just wanted to talk it out and see. But I do lean towards the Magic. Um, we'll see how it shakes out. Anything else here, Rob, before we move on?
Real quick, where the comment was about Magic playing double overtime the other night. It is their fourth road game in 6 nights. Extremely shorthanded. We know that the NBA has produced winners out of teams that are missing one star player. This team only has 2 starters in their lineup right now. Banchero, 45 minutes the other night. Suggs, 39. Fourth game in 6. They could be tired as well. It's altitude. You're shorthanded. I just think that the smarter play, for me at least, is to go ahead and grab under in this case. But I'm not going to put anybody on Denver, and I wouldn't argue anybody off Orlando because in the beginning I thought Orlando was the right side situationally.
All right, you gotta look towards the under. You gotta look towards the Magic. Next game up, 577, 578. Heat heading into Phoenix. Take on the Suns. Opened up Suns -4. Hasn't really moved. Total opened up 229.5. Not moving either. Injury report. Let me just make sure I keep refreshing here. You know these things constantly change. Kevin Durant, game time decision. Eric Gordon, game time decision. Nazir Little, game time decision. They'll be without Damian Lee. For the Heat, Caleb Martin is game time, but he's doubtful. They'll be without both Jimmy Butler and Highsmith. This is a game where my guy S. Warrior in the chat. I know he's the big Heat fan. He says, "Ski, come with it." um, I don't know what to do with this game here right now. I look at it. Miami has been playing good basketball lately. They've covered 5 of their last 7 games. They've been a better defense lately for sure. Phoenix covering only 3 of their last 17. I said that Phoenix would be good on his homestand, but I said, I was thinking with Kevin Durant in the lineup, I don't want to be betting on them when he's up in the air, and I'm not sure if he's going to be out there. So no Kevin Durant, no Suns for me. That would put me on a lean towards the Heat. And also no KD means slower pace, less baskets for Phoenix. Maybe also lean towards the under in this game. How do you feel about those two?
Well, I'll start with what I did play, and I'm riding the words of Devin Booker on this bet. Devin Booker, quote, "We've got to start games better and with a sense of urgency. We have to be ready for the fight. We were fighting uphill the entire game." He's talking about their last game where their 4-game winning streak got snapped. We showed some things in the second half, what it looks like when we turn up the energy and intensity. With that, and him being the leader of that team, I played first quarter Phoenix -1 point, just assuming that that's going to be the focal part of tonight's game at home against Miami. Miami, you mentioned how shorthanded they are. They got the win the other night in LA, I think, right? Wasn't it against the Lakers where they walked in and won a little bit shorthanded?
Yep.
So I don't know that they could do that again. I mean, Miami's done that quite a bit, but I think to open this game, you're going to see a little bit of fire out of the Phoenix Suns. And even if you only get it out of Devin Booker, sometimes that's good enough to get you through a quarter, just Devin Booker with that team. So I played it that way, Ski. That's where I'll leave it. I didn't have much feeling as far as the rest was concerned. I did want to play Phoenix full game because I wanted to fade Miami after that win against the Lakers. And Phoenix had been on the 4-game winning streak. I thought they were playing really well, but I shortened it up. Again, Boofer will be happy. I claimed it's going to be a second time in 2 nights I did this, Boofer, so you'd be really happy. But first quarter Phoenix, again, my whole thing is based on the words of Devin Booker and the way he said they need to start games. So I think there'll be fire under Phoenix tonight, Friday night, in front of the home crowd.
Good stuff and good point. Got to listen to when they're talking. Our other contrarian better in the chat here. Let's see what he has to say, Mr. Veno, before we move on. He likes the Phoenix side, -4. He says, likes them coming off in this spot, coming off a tough loss to the best in the West, in his opinion. The Heat on the last game of a 5 West Coast road trip thinks it's a fatigue spot. He says, and they just want to go home. They wanted that game in LA bad for Jaime Jaquez Jr., and they just hate the Lakers. It's the Suns' 5th or 6th game home. Oh wait, it's the Suns' fifth or sixth game home for the Suns, so they're pretty comfortable. And before they lost to the Clippers. The Suns were playing good basketball. Thinks they should get back on track tonight. Sees Devin Booker having a huge game. Says y'all don't see Austin Reeves and Klay Thompson ahead of him in All Star voting. Okay, thinks he's a little motivated here tonight. And says no Haysmith, no Martin, no Jimmy. Who you put on D Book and Bill? Heat are banged up, and that will catch up with them tonight. Suns got the better bench in his opinion. Says he gave some good reasons, but then he says it's just a gut play. Says it's tricky. But appreciate those thoughts. Definitely some good ones in those comments. And Veno at least thinks that the Suns should start off strong. So good stuff there. JT asking a question that I can answer about the Heat first quarter margin. I will give it to you. Scoring first quarter margin. For Miami, they're number 3, plus 2.6. And for Phoenix, plus 0.5. But they're saying Devin Booker is saying that Phoenix needs to do better. That's what Rob is saying tonight. So next game up, and we only have 3 left on this 14 game slate. So we've been making some progress, even though we've been on here forever. 579, 580. Toronto Raptors heading into Sacramento to take on the Kings. Opened up Kings minus 4.5. Not really any movement. 4.5 is what we see right now. Total open 238. We're looking at 236.5 as the lowest right now. So it's all over the place. So depending on what you like, make sure you line shop here. Injury report: Gary Trent Jr. and Otto Porter, both game time decision. Otto Porter is doubtful for this Toronto team. Sacramento has nobody on the injury report as of right now. And my things are a little out of order here. So for this game, I believe they're equally rested. But you do have Sacramento. They played that double overtime game versus the Magic. And, you had a lot of guys playing, 40 something minutes in that game. I still think that's going to take a lot out of them. They haven't been playing the best basketball lately, 3-6 ATS their last 9 games. When they're home favorite, they're 7-9, haven't been profitable. Versus lesser competition, less than 45% win teams, haven't been profitable, 5-7. What would we really like about the Kings tonight? Raptors undefeated so far in the new year. Raptors undefeated with their new squad. They've covered 4 of their last 5 games. Feeling a little good right now. I think the Raptors would be a better side in this game. And if we look at the total, I think this trade for the Raptors, it's pace. Pace and less defense is what I'm seeing for the Raptors. The Kings haven't been playing with the pace that I'm accustomed to for them, and they've been playing more defense than I'm used to. But I don't think the effort will be there for the Kings tonight on that defensive end. So I think the road team actually paces them up a little bit. Gets Kings back to their old pace. I'll lean over, looking at the Raptors as well. How do you feel about it, Mr. Veno?
I could definitely see the Raptors ski. We talked about OG Anunoby bringing some life to the Knicks. The Knicks loving having him. Head coach loving having him. It looks like the trade worked for both sides because there's nothing but praise for Emmanuel Quickly from these Raptors and their head coach, and how great he's been. Had 26 the other night, 5 threes. So I think both teams are pleased with what they got in that particular trade. I want nothing to do with Sacramento right now. When you said they're not playing really good basketball, that's the way I see it too. They're not playing good basketball. Now, I just said that Orlando's down to 2 starters, and they took Sacramento on Sacramento's home floor to double overtime. It shouldn't happen. And Mike Brown, I don't know what's going on there, but that team has taken a nosedive as of late. I don't know if I take one of your phrases, what's Sacramento doing laying points to anybody? I don't think they should be at this point in time. Toronto kicked off a 6-game road trip with a win the other night, 116, 111. And like I say about these road trips, the first game is key, and it can actually activate some confidence, some motivation, some more focus. I think Toronto will come in here and play with all of that tonight. So if I were to play, I like that side. I can see your point about total too. Just reading this morning what I read about how much Toronto likes having quickly on the floor and what he brings to their offense. So hey, I definitely would lean more towards Toronto, but I could see over as well.
All right, so we're in agreement on this game. Shout out my boy Nucky over there in the north. He said he was liking the Raptors, but then he said, "Damn, all y'all like the Raptors? Now I'm worried." I like how it goes on the contrarian play of the day on the Wager Talk show. Everybody can't agree.
Exactly what I was thinking.
We'll see how it shakes out. 2 more games left, Rob. We're almost there. Almost at the finish line. 581, 582. Detroit and Golden State opened up. Golden State minus 9.5. Not seeing a whole lot of movement there. Total open 242.5. We are seeing that come down about 4 points to 238.5. Injury report for these teams: Draymond Green, Gary Payton II, both out for Detroit. Alec Burks, game time decision. Morris and Stewart, both out. So Golden State did play last night. Detroit has the rest advantage here, 1-0. It can go 2 ways here, Rob. I mean, I was feeling like Golden State was kind of ready to start to trend back up now, but that's a gut punching loss right there. Up 17 and to lose, just give it away like that, lose it like that, and then on the buzzer beater like that. I feel like that might have maybe it deflated them a little bit for this next matchup. You can look at it that way. And if you do, they are 4-10-1 as a home favorite. In Detroit, they've been, when they were getting close to, when they broke history, they started to fight for their lives to, get off the schneid. They've covered 4 of their last 5 games. They've been playing a little bit better as far as against the number. So you could look at it that way, or you could look at it like Golden State is pissed that they gave that game away. They come out here and play like they're pissed against a much lesser Pistons team. And if they do that, they're capable of winning this game by this margin, and they've covered 6 of their last 8. So which way are you looking at it here, Mr. Veno?
All right, the first thing I have to say to you, because I started laughing a minute ago, I almost gave this chat room some more fodder to come at me with, because you said we're almost there, Rob. We're almost to the finish line, and immediately in my head, I know you're a horse race guy, and I was about to say go to the whip ski, but if I say that, which I just did, the chat room is going to have peaches with a crack in the middle, with a whip connected or something. So I guess I'm going to be labeled even more of a freak for having that thought in my head. But you know what I mean as a horse race guy getting to the finish line. Here, I don't know.
A lot of pauses.
Yeah, these guys are gonna ride me. These phrases all apply to sports, but they get me in trouble. My first thought when I watched Steph in that post game, and Steph just looked defeated after losing that game. And you saw his reaction on the floor with the mouthpiece and everything after Jokic hit that shot. But I have a hard time trying to get inside their heads and thinking of whether that's fuel to come out here tonight and just destroy this team that they should destroy, or if it is deflating. Here we go with the comment. Oh, man. This is why I come on every Thursday and Friday to have some fun with you guys. I'm actually, I'm going to sum this up real fast because these things are going to get to me. I couldn't make up my mind which way I wanted to go with Golden State. I would almost prefer to think that they're in a spot where they want to just come out and the anger and the frustration shows up early in this game, and Golden State gets off to a really good start. They did play really well first quarter against Denver. As I mentioned earlier, it took a 16-6 run by Denver to get them to win that first quarter. But I don't know, Ski. It's a confusing game for me. Detroit's a little bit confident now off a win, so I'll let this one go. We can get to the last game here.
Hey, we get in trouble with this one, man.
Yeah, I tell you what. I need a drink with you.
Nucky said, "What did I tune into?" Roger
Yeah,
said,
I know.
"Every Friday."
I'm telling you.
And then JT says this show's top. We have a good time. That's why I love it. You gotta have a good time too when you're doing this stuff. We spend a lot of time together. We gotta have some laughs, man. So let's move over to the last game on the slate. I got tears almost coming out my eye, man.
Yeah, I tell you, if I had said it immediately when I thought probably Casey would have been first in there. Whoa, because she was last time. What did he just say? So I had to, calm myself and then try and explain myself when I got the opportunity.
Hey, it's all good. We we enjoyed it. We got a laugh out of it. Last game up 583, 584. Memphis and LA Lakers opened up Lakers minus 5.5. They're now a 4-point favorite, even some 3.5s out there. Total open 228.5, down as low as 225. Oh man, I still gotta catch my breath here, Rob.
I'm glad I don't have the YouTube on right now because man.
Memphis injury report. I see Brandon Clark and Derrick Rose out. Vince Williams he's true game time. For the Lakers, what a surprise. Anthony Davis and LeBron James are game time decision. So is Russell. But AD is probable. Russell is doubtful. Rui and Gabe Vincent are both going to miss this contest. So, I did a look ahead with the guys yesterday, and I was saying you should look towards Memphis here. I know Memphis has failed to cover the last 5 games. A couple of those have been without John Morant. But what has this Laker team shown you to be laying any kind of points? I'm not betting the Lakers minus anything right now, really, versus anybody, unless it's -1, maybe. But they failed to cover 8 of their last 12 games. They don't know who they want to put out there on the floor. Darvin Ham doesn't know what rotation he wants to go with. You can't trust Ham to call plays when you need him. I don't see a whole lot to like from this Lakers team. Memphis has been a better offensive and defensive team last 5 games. I think Memphis can get the outright win in this matchup. How do you feel about it, Rob?
I just I had to turn it on to see what they were saying, Ski. I just had to turn it on. Nathan wants to know what's wrong with whips, and Poofer says his mom has 6 of them. So, I mean, Casey says I changed her Friday forever. Oh, man. I tell you the truth. I came here today with not a real opinion on this game, trying to come and listen to what you were thinking, because that's your squad more than I had a feeling for. Neither team's playing really well, and it's hard to get to either. But when Memphis comes to LA, it is a big deal. We know that. Last year, I think, wasn't this the game where Shannon Sharp and Ja's dad almost got into it at halftime last year, right? So we know there's a little bit of something there. So I expect each team to come focused. But
a lot of that beef, though, was Dylan Brooks, though, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, that's true too. It was Dylan Brooks, right. And so, I expect them both to play hard. And when you're both going as bad as they are, it's hard to figure out which one's going to come out on top. Generally speaking, in this situation, just as a rule of thumb, I like the dog because I think points are worth taking in a game where you feel like both sides are equal. So maybe that's the way I would look. But without a real strong opinion, I don't want to put anybody onto anything here in this game. I'll let it go. Like I said, I just really wanted to hear what you were going to say about this one. Maybe I could get something from that.
Oh, yeah. You want to see if I can make any kind of case for the Lakers, huh? No, I cannot. There's no way I can get to the window with anything Lakers as of right now. Man says Boots is crazy. Yeah, chat's still going crazy down here, Rob. But they're having a good time, and that's what it's all about. So I love it. I only could look towards Memphis. Wham says Lakers can keep Ja out the paint. We shall see. I don't trust the Lakers to do a whole lot of anything right now. So we'll see how it shakes out. We have 390 people in the chat watching the show live right now. If you guys appreciate the show, if you enjoyed the show, hit the like button as it does help us out. And we'll see if we should have hit that mark where we can do a little something if we got enough likes. So how about this? It is about that time. But before, I guess before that, let me check. Let me see what y'all doing, man. I feel like we had a it should be some likes in there. We got through this 14 game card. We gave a lot of information. All right, we got 208. 208 on the live stream is pretty good. 300 more than 50% of people hit the like button. So we will do our last five for this month. So go get them. Go get them. Go get them. Go get them. Should be right there in the chat. S. Warrior's ready. Casey's ready. She got it. Nathan is ready. Nucky got it. Ben James got it. So that's as many memberships as I'm allowed to gift this month. I gave 10 out today, and I will have System Saturday show with my members for tomorrow. If you'd like to become a member, you can still do that. The link is in the description, or you can just click that money sign at the bottom. So now we'll move over to best bets for the show. And before I pass it to Rob, you guys in the chat know the deal already. New rules, what I'll say. Less than 3 plays. That was already a rule. And if you could put best bet when you type it, just so I don't confuse you putting whatever other best that you may like, because I see people put I lean this and this too. So best bet and drop your best bets, either 1 or 2, and that would be the rule. So, Mr. Veno, it's time. It's time to let the people know how to get paid today, but also I'm going to ask you if there's anything you would like to promote.
Yeah, very quickly. And Ski, as I see the comments scrolling down here, generally I don't turn on the comments. So this is a first for me to see the reaction of the crowd. But I did see one in there asking about the national championship game. So I will, in the promo, tell you how to get a look at that. First off, again, wagertalk.com is where you can find all my work. If you guys aren't members currently, just go in and drop your email address. You get free access to all the video content, all the written content, selections analysis provided by Wagertalk. If you're interested in selection packages, again, I think I said this yesterday, but I do have a 5% play in NFL action for this weekend, 5% being as high as we can rate them at Wagertalk. It's on my homepage at wagertalk.com. If you're interested in selection packages, you can catch that as well. As far as the national championship analysis is concerned, guys, if you want to see what I have to say on the game, tomorrow morning, Wager Talk has a show called Last Call. It's an 11 a.m. I think my spot is 11 a.m. East, 8 a.m. Pacific. But, of course, you can always catch it on the replay, where I'll be discussing the Washington-Michigan national championship game. So you can find it there. As for today's Ski, how to get paid, I'll go back to what Devin Booker said. I mean, I'm a full believer in when leaders do speak. And when they speak, we talk about Jimmy Butler often. Bet what Jimmy Butler's telling you. I'm going to bet what Devin Booker's telling me here and play Phoenix first quarter. -1 point. When the star of your team says we need to play a lot better right out of the gate, I think they will tonight. They have an opponent who's a little beat up, a little bit tired, so it's a good spot to do it. So give me Phoenix -1 point in the first quarter is the best bet for the show.
All right, good stuff there. I'm sure Teddy would appreciate you going with that quote from the Suns in that matchup. And as always, little promo for me as well. Both of our links to our profile on Wager Talk are in the description to the video. So you can click right there and it'll take you to both of our pages. And today, I don't do a whole lot of promo all the time, but today I do have a 5% play. And I've only had 11 of them dating back to March of 2023. And I cast 9 out of 11. So big play for me today. If you'd like to be involved, you can get it up at wagertalk.com. So before I give my best bet and we get out of here, let's take a little look at the chat, see if I can shout some people out. I think C Boogie put this up before I told everybody to put best bet as well. And also, I need to see the number for these best bets so I know. But Travis John, or C Boogie likes the Knicks. Travis John likes the Nets team total under. David Katz going with OKC money line. Raven Ron likes the Pacers -5. Siete Catorce with his usual money line parlay. Pacers and Lakers is how he likes it this time. Damani going with Julius Randle over 8.5 rebounds. Ronell says running it back. So it must have cashed yesterday with the Devils and Blackhawks under 6.5. Look at me. I know the teams in hockey. Best bet for Casey. And I've been paying attention. You've been doing your thing with the little props. And I've been peeping you on your prop train. So she likes quickly over 17.5 points. JT likes Jazz team total over 111.5, and that makes sense to me. Brandon Saunders quickly over 2.5 made threes. Matt Porter likes the Hawks first half. And that does seem like a good look to me as well. BC3, Nets money line. My guy Nucky going with the hometown Raptors as his best bet. And plenty more best bets in the chat. I'm not going to name them all, but I will go back and grade them all. And for you guys watching on the replay, you can go back and watch the live chat. All you have to do if you're on your phone, where's the comment section, you swipe, I forget if you swipe left or right, and you click it, that gets you the live chat. And if you're on the computer, it should be in the top right corner. So best bet for myself. Best bet for myself here. I will go with, you guys can get a better number than me. I will go with Hornets. Hornets, best number you can get right now is plus 9.5. I bet them plus 8.5. Zach LaVine is a minus, not a plus right now for this Bulls team. Vooch back after missing some time. 2-star players back. That's minuses to put that much usage back into the lineup for a team that's already been playing well. Hornets want to finish up their road trip strong. I think they put in a good effort tonight and keep it respectable if not win the game. So Hornets for the show plus 9.5. For my pocket plus 8.5. Like I always say, this show is absolutely nothing without the chat. A lot of good information being shared per usual, and we have a good time. Y'all saw me Rob making me laugh too, but y'all making me laugh in the chat. Got me over here crying, real tears in my eyes. So we have a good time. We make some money, and I think we all did a damn good job on this 14-game card. So best of luck if you tell. Good luck, everybody, on all your action. There will be System Saturday tomorrow for the members, and I will catch you guys there. Peace.